Hello everyone and welcome back to the Children's Corner. Today we want to share with you one of our very favorite books called And Then Nicholas Sang. It's the story of the Trisagion hymn, which is one of the oldest and most well-known hymns in our church. The Trisagion hymn is sung all around the world as a part of Christian worship. The origins of this hymn are not known for certain, but tradition tells us that it dates back to the reign of St. Proclus as Patriarch of Constantinople, during the time when Constantinople and the surrounding region were plagued by earthquakes. We are told that the prayer was given by the angels to a young boy, when, in the midst of one of the earthquakes, he was taken up into the sky and out of view. After the boy was returned safely to the earth, he sang a song he had heard the angels singing as they worshipped God. When the people of Constantinople began to sing this prayer in praise and worship, the earthquake ceased to plague the city. Since that time, the prayer has been chanted and sung all around the world. This work of fiction is built around that beloved tradition. Constantinople. The name of the city rolled off of Nicholas's tongue. He said it slowly, syllable by syllable. Constantinople. He said it as fast as he could. Constantinople! He sang it, shouted it, whispered it. Nicholas was glad he lived in Constantinople. He liked the enormous walls that Emperor Theodosius had ordered to be built around the city. He liked the glorious arches of the aqueducts that spanned the city streets. He especially liked the bustling ports where ships from faraway places would come to load and unload their cargo. There was no doubt that on Nicholas's list of things he liked the most, Constantinople was very near the top. There was only one thing Nicholas seemed to like more than Constantinople, and that was talking. Nicholas liked to talk. Every morning, as soon as his mother called him to wake up, Nicholas started talking. Even before he opened his eyes, he started telling his brother about his dreams from the night before or his plans for the day ahead. When he went into the kitchen for breakfast, he would talk until his mother said, "Stop chattering, Nicholas, you're making my ears tired." So Nicholas would say goodbye and start off for school. But no sooner would he round the corner from his house than he would stop at the weaver's shop and talk to the weaver until he said, "Stop chattering, Nicholas, you're making my head spin. Off to school with you." Even during school, Nicholas would talk until the teacher would scold and say, "Stop chattering, Nicholas, we're trying to do our lessons." From sunrise to sunset, Nicholas never seemed to stop talking. The truth is, he spent so much time chattering that his friends called him Nicholas the Chatterer. See the cat? But there was one thing Nicholas did not talk about, and that was earthquakes. There had been several earthquakes in Constantinople, and they frightened him. The earthquakes had not been very strong, but he knew that in many places they had ruined buildings and houses and brought flooding. Patriarch Proclus and Emperor Theodosius had told people to pray for an end to the earthquakes, but the earthquakes had continued to plague the cities. So the bishops called for a special day for people to gather and walk to the outskirts of Constantinople. Together they would march around the city, asking for God's protection and an end to the calamities. When the day for the procession came, Nicholas, his brother, and his mother set out for the church. There Nicholas saw a crowd already gathered and the priests standing on the church steps. As Nicholas drew nearer, he heard loud squawking from a flock of birds perched in a nearby tree. With a shrill screech and a cacophony of flapping wings, they flew from the square and out of sight. Beside Nicholas, a merchant's donkey gave a bray of alarm, kicked his hind feet high into the air, and raced away. Before Nicholas could even say a word, he heard a thunderous sound in the distance, like a rushing river. The noise grew louder, and then again louder, as everyone around him cried out in alarm. The thundering noise did not come alone. It brought with it a shaking of the earth so violent that trees began to snap. Houses crumbled. Black cracks in the earth opened wide and snaked their way along the streets. People ran out of the square, colliding with one another in the confusion. Suddenly, Nicholas felt as though he were falling, and then his falling seemed to become soaring. There was darkness and then light. Light with a whirl of color so dazzling it made him gasp. And riding on the light was a mystic and melodious sound, wrapped in a glorious scent, and followed by a sweet taste that seemed to come from the air itself. It all came rolling over him like a gentle giant wave. And then, stillness. He was no longer with his family, but he was not alone. The word angel flashed through his mind. All at once he knew he was with the angels. He lost all sense of time. Perhaps he was there for a minute, perhaps for a year. Nicholas did not know. And then it came again, the wave of color and sound and sweetness taking him back to the earth and the earthquakes. But something was different. He was bringing something with him, something from the angels. What was it? A song. The angels had given him a song. Nicholas found himself once again standing in front of the church in the city square. His mother, brother, and a throng of people were gathered around. Nicholas said his mother, "Where have you been?" "What happened?" asked his brother. "Where did you go?" They all talked at once. "We saw you, Nicholas. You went up into a cloud, into the sky. Where did you go? What did you see?" The questions swirled around him until he felt dizzy, but Nicholas had nothing to say. For once he was silent, absolutely silent. And then Nicholas sang. Softly at first, as though in a dream. "Holy is God," he sang a bit more loudly. "Holy and mighty," he sang with growing boldness. "Holy, immortal." Over and over again Nicholas sang these words. The people grew quiet. The earth did not. It rumbled while the ground under their feet trembled. In the distance the voices of people shouting and crying could still be heard. Nicholas kept on singing. "Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal." His mother joined in, and then his brother, and then the crowd that was gathered around him. The priests stopped their prayers and listened, and then they too began to sing. With Nicholas in their midst, they marched through the city. "Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal." The music grew, gathering strength and power and voices as it went. The ground continued to shake. The song swelled. "Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal." With each tremor the priests prayed, "Have mercy on us, have mercy on us." The bass notes of the priests' chant entwined themselves in the deep rumbling of the earthquake. The chant wound itself around the grumbling that echoed out from the depths of the earth and took charge over it until there was only one final tremble, a tremble that seemed to be little more than the shake of a tambourine or the vibration of a drum accompanying the song. The earth gave a sigh of relief as tranquility and quiet returned. The reign of the earthquakes had ended, and calm was restored. The multitude of voices slowly faded away until the only voice remaining was that of Nicholas, steadfastly singing the final chorus. "Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us." From that day on, Nicholas the Chatterer had very little to say, but he had much more yet to sing. He became Nicholas the Singer, singer of the angels' song. Wherever he went and whenever he sang, people listened, and they never forgot the day the angels' song calmed the earthquakes and brought peace. Thank you for joining us today for a short edition of the Children's Corner. Please pray with us for Constantinople, for the Patriarch, and for our beloved Hagia Sophia.